Welcome back to her DIY Dream Home. This episode we're going to be focusing on the floors. I'm so excited to get this part of the project done. It just means that we're nearing the finish of the RV remodel. Luna. Okay, so I've done a little bit of the work already. I actually did the rough cuts of the linoleum inside my house in my living room. And then brought it out here, and because I was going in and out so much, taking measurements and then cutting, taking measurements and cutting, I decided to not record it. It was just going to be a lot of me getting up and sitting back down. So linoleum. I decided to go with linoleum because all the other options were not going to work for my needs. First option I thought about was carpet. I decided to not do carpet in the main cabin for two reasons. One, I have a dog. I have two dogs actually, but I have Luna here and then I have Mike, my Shih Tzu. And with the dogs in and out, it'd just be so much easier to clean the floors with a hard surface. Reason two is because I'm going to be living in this while doing construction, and I imagine dirt is going to get everywhere. And just, it'd be much easier to sweep if I didn't have, rather than vacuuming, just cleanliness basically. Thing I also thought about using was peel and stick vinyl tiles. I really was gonna do that, and then I was kind of talking with some professionals and really thinking about the application and stuff, and I decided against it. The peel and stick would have been super easy to install. I've done it before. You just peel off the back, stick it on the floor, maybe throw some primer on the subfloor. But the real concern came with the cold or the heat in the RV, the expanding and contraction of the vinyl tiles, and I didn't want them popping up because as much as you prime the floors with the vinyl primer and then use the peel and stick and press down, the changes in the heats, because we go from 0 degrees to 110 here in my area, so there's really a lot of possibility for issues. The third option I thought about was doing a vinyl plank or a engineered wood kind of situation, but that has the same issues as the peel and stick. I mean, it'd be a little bit better because it wouldn't pop up, but I've had flooring like that in the past, and just the expansion and the contractions of the joints really kind of I didn't appreciate it. And then also on top of that, there would be a lot of cutting. There are little corners everywhere in here, and so the cutting to make it fit would just be a nightmare. And so yeah, I decided to not go that direction. So that left me with linoleum. There was linoleum in here before in the cabin area, in the kitchen area. You saw the video of me pulling that up. That was really disgusting because there was water damage from the ceiling and got underneath the linoleum. So when we peeled it up, there was a lot of really nasty smell and stuff going on. But anyways, it had held up pretty well other than the nasty smell when pulling it up. And since I've now waterproofed the RV, that won't be an issue anymore. So yeah, so that's why I decided to go with linoleum. I then went out and started shopping for prices. I went to Home Depot and Lowe's, and they have this really neat wood look linoleum. I think it actually looks pretty good. I got kind of a grayish brown color. I think it complements the walls and kind of gives it that rustic farmhouse chic look I'm going for in here. Anyways, so yeah, so there's a few colors. I posted them on Instagram and I decided to go with one, and then because I'm a shopper, I went down to my local Costless Carpet and I decided to go see what they had, and they had almost the same exact one that I found at Lowe's, which was $1.19 a square foot for 68 cents a square foot. So yeah, I went with that one. So I bought a 12-foot wide, because that's how wide it is, by 20-foot piece of linoleum. And The 20-foot piece, I just said that because that is the distance from the back wall here to through the kitchen to the where the master bedroom starts. And then from the leftover pieces, because my RV is only 91 inches wide, I was able to get a big enough leftover piece to do the bedroom area as well. So that actually worked out pretty well. I did have a pretty good chunk left over from it, and I put it on Craigslist, and somebody came and picked it up that night just to get it out of my house. So the type of linoleum I got is actually thicker than the normal stuff you think of. This is a fiberglass linoleum. There are 3 installation methods that you can use. You can use the traditional glue down, that you can do a loose lay, or you can use tape to tape it down. This is Max Grip Vinyl Permanent Adhesive Double-Sided Tape. So my plan is to do kind of a combination of loose lay and tape. So I'm going to go around all the edges in the RV and just put a strip of this tape and then push it down. And then after I'm done with that, I bought some clear silicone, which I'm going to silicone the edges all the way around the RV just to make it so that water can't get underneath the linoleum like it did before. And then after that, I'll put on the trim. I'm really excited to get this project done. I think it's going to look great. So yeah, so let's get started. So like I said before, I cut out the floor. I went through and I measured this distance and I cut it, and then I measured the next distance and cut it, and I just cut it. A lot of the instructions I read just said to cut it about an inch wider than you needed, and I tried doing that, but that's where I ran into trouble. When I went to go place the flooring on the floor, cutting it in such a little area, it's not a square room. It was a kind of a pain in the butt. I made a lot of mistakes that I could have avoided if I had just cut to the actual size of the room. I am going to put trim down so that'll cover any of the boo-boos, but still it would have been much easier. And so when I went to go do the bathroom floor, I actually just cut it to the exact dimensions and I laid it down. And I was off in a couple of spots by a little bit, but nothing like this stuff. And you'll see it's all over the floor. I need to clean it up. So let's get started. Okay, so the double-sided linoleum tape requires a clean, dry surface to stick the double-sided tape to. So I went ahead with my shop vac and vacuumed everywhere around the corners. I had already swept a few times, but with building debris everywhere, it just kind of gets everywhere. So I vacuumed really good, and then I started installing the tape. The tape was actually really sticky. My X-Acto knife and pair of scissors I used for this project got all super gummed up. So you want to make sure you use something that you're not afraid of throwing away. Luckily, I had a bunch of these cheap pair of scissors, so I was able to just toss them and not feel guilty about it. The tape is actually a piece of double-sided tape with a mesh buried in between 2 layers. So it was actually kind of difficult to cut because you're not only cutting the tape itself and the gumminess of the tape, but this mesh thread that added strength to the adhesion. The next step of this project was actually doing all the stairs in the RV. There's a set of stairs that go from the main cabin up to the bathroom area, and then there's another step or ledge that goes from the bathroom into the master bedroom area. So I was using leftover pieces of linoleum to do all of these kind of smaller cuts. So what I'm using in this video is actually a foam cutter. It's a tool that I had from another project, and it actually worked really well. With this fiberglass backing, it actually kind of acted like foam. So it's a straight blade attached to a little handheld mechanism, and then you run it along the track of that metal ruler and it all came together. So it was really easy to cut, made everything nice and straight. After using the tape to place the rest of the vinyl, I went ahead and used some carpet finishing strips, the metal transition pieces that you buy at the big box store, to finish the transition from the master bedroom into the bathroom. I just used some tin snips to cut it down, and then used aluminum screws to set up in place. For the steps from the main cabin into the bathroom area, I had to kind of make things up as I went. I really didn't want to have a tripping hazard, so I couldn't just put down the linoleum on top and then just let the corners go. So I had to figure out what I was going to do to finish the edges. I guess in hindsight, it could have, you know, gotten a step, like a piece of wood, and used it as a step and just anchored it down. But I just kind of had in my brain that it needed to be all linoleum. So I went ahead and got some nose trim from the big box store and used that for the front of the 2 steps, and then I used some 3/4 inch angled aluminum for the edges along the sides so that it would have a finished edge. Like I said, I didn't want it to be a tripping hazard. Just imagine my toe snagging on the corner somehow and then basically it was actually pretty easy to do. Again, I just used my 10 sticks to make everything the size it needs to be, and I'm pretty happy. Good morning. Today's project is installing the trim all around the base of the RV. So yesterday, as you saw, I went ahead and taped down all the linoleum, and then I went ahead and did all the trim work for the stairs that lead into the master bedroom area. That went pretty well. I'm pretty happy. I think the only thing I would have changed, and maybe I will fix it, is the stair nose I purchased was a satin brushed nickel, and the angle iron or the angle aluminum that I had for the treads going up and in are just a basic aluminum. So I might go down and get a can of metal spray paint and take them off and just hit them with the coat just to kind of make it look a little bit nicer. But that's not really vital, so we'll just leave it as it is for now and then make that decision later. It would be like a quick 20-minute project, so we'll do that later. So today I am doing the trim. I got this nice 3.5-inch trim board for all the bases. You saw me put it in an earlier video into the bedroom area, so now I'm going to use the leftovers that I have to do the main cabin in here, and then in the bathroom area. Any place that I have a cabinet with doors on it, I got a smaller kind of just decorative trim to cover the seams. So that should be really quick and easy to put in. I also got some trim work for the bathroom, but we'll do that later. So let's get started. Trimming out the main cabin and the bathroom area took most of my day. I would like to say that I am really good when it comes to trim work, but I am not. Some of the cuts were not perfect, but that is what caulking is for. Off camera, and then like a day later I went back with some white caulking and filled in all the kind of the weird little gaps and stuff. So it made it a little bit better, and then I went through and painted all of the trim. The larger trim, I went with the same color that I had painted the ceiling and the cabinetry and the banquette area. The smaller trim was a combination of the blue that I had painted the kitchen cabinets and white that I had painted the rest of the cabinetry. So I just made it whatever color it was touching, and I think it just kind of added a little something extra to the kitchen cabinets and the bathroom area and where I had put it. I liked how it turned out. Like I always say, I think trim is the jewelry of a room. It just makes everything sparkle a little bit more. It also hides a lot of flaws and connection areas and stuff that didn't go as planned. I am really super excited to almost get this project done. Now that I got the flooring in the bathroom area, I can actually finish the bathroom, which is the next video. That's it for today. Please like and subscribe, and keep following me on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.